Here is a psychological fact you are not ready for. If you look rich, you are probably poor. We have been programmed by society, by media, and by our own biological insecurity to believe that wealth makes noise, that it screams with logos, loud cars, and golden watches. But in reality, money talks, but wealth whispers. You are walking through a graveyard of potential. Look around you. You see people driving cars that cost more than their annual salary. You see clothes designed to make you stare. You see a performance, a desperate, loud, exhausting performance. But the most powerful man in the room? You didn't even notice him. He is the ghost. And while everyone else is fighting for attention, he is fighting for control. Psychologists call this signaling theory. In nature, the weakest animals are often the most colorful. They use bright colors to warn predators or to desperately attract a mate because they have nothing else to offer. The apex predator? The lion, the wolf, the shark? They blend in. They don't need to signal their power. They are the power. And when you understand this, you will see why 90% of people remain trapped in the rat race. You think you are buying things to feel good. You tell yourself, I worked hard, I deserve this. But actually, you are trading your life energy, your limited time on this earth, to buy approval from people who don't care about you. Your relationships, your anxiety, and your bank account are all being drained by a single parasitic psychological pattern: the need for validation. But here is where it gets worse. Most people think that if they just make more money, the problem will go away. This is a lie. If you give a broke person $1 million, they don't become rich. They become a broke person with $1 million. And within 3 years, the money is gone. Why? Because poverty isn't just a number in a bank account. Poverty is a mindset. It is a behavioral loop.
And unless you break that loop, no amount of money will save you.
Here is the painful truth. You are not buying luxury. You are buying therapy. You buy the car to heal the insecurity implanted in you during high school. You buy the watch to cover the silence that screams when you are alone at night. Society has tricked you into believing that net worth equals self-worth. But look at the rich people on Instagram. Look closer. Most of them are one bad month away from total ruin. They are high income, low net worth. They are rich slaves, shackled by their own lifestyle. And here is what nobody wants to admit. The most dangerous, powerful men in the world, the ones who actually run things, are usually the ones you walk past on the street without a second glance. They have mastered the art of camouflage. Real wealth requires a complete rewrite of your operating system. It requires you to kill your ego and become a ghost. Let's break down the 6 psychological laws of the Quiet Millionaire. If you master these, you stop playing the game on hard mode and start playing it on your own terms. Law 1. Identity decoupling. Your brain is evolutionarily designed to seek status. Thousands of years ago, if you had low status in the tribe, you didn't eat. You died. So your brain is terrified of looking average. To protect you from feeling insignificant, your brain attaches your identity to objects. You say, I am a guy who drives a BMW, or I am a girl who wears Prada. Stop. Listen to yourself.
This is madness. You are not the car. You are not the clothes. You are not the apartment. The BMW is a piece of metal, rubber, and plastic that begins to rot and depreciate the moment you turn the key. When you tie your self-esteem to depreciating assets, your self-esteem depreciates with them. When the car gets a scratch, you feel the scratch. When the trend changes, you feel outdated. You become a slave to the maintenance of your image.
The Stoic knows you are not what you own. Ask yourself this brutal question. If everything you owned burned down tomorrow, if you stood naked in an empty room with $0 in your pocket, who would you be? If the answer is nobody, then you are already bankrupt, no matter how much money you have. The quiet millionaire decouples his soul from his stuff. He enjoys quality, yes, but he does not need it to know who he is. Law 2. Optionality over status. Poor people buy status. Rich people buy options. This is the fundamental difference in brain architecture. The consumer brain sees money as a token to trade for things. The wealth brain sees money as a tool to trade for freedom. Every time you spend money on something flashy, you are burning your freedom. You are setting fire to your options. You think, I can afford the monthly payments on this truck. This is the trap. This is the language of a slave. The question isn't, can I make the payment? The question is, does this purchase own me? Once you sign that contract, you must keep that job. You must tolerate that boss. You must wake up at 6 a.m. even if you are sick. You have sold your future time for a piece of metal today. True wealth is the ability to wake up in the morning, look at the ceiling, and say, I can do whatever the hell I want today. I can work or I can not work. I can travel or I can stay home. I can speak my mind because I don't fear being fired. That is the only luxury that matters. Everything else is just expensive noise. Law 3. The Fortress of Solitude. Why do truly wealthy people often drive old cars and wear plain t-shirts? Because they understand a concept called security substitution. When you are insecure, you need external armor. You need the brand names to protect your fragile ego from judgment. But when you have a fortress of cash in the bank, liquid, accessible, yours, you don't need the armor. Cash in the bank is boring. It doesn't get likes on social media. You can't show a screenshot of your savings account at a party. But it provides a psychological fortress that allows you to walk through the world differently. Psychologists have found that financial stress drops your IQ by up to 13 points. When you are living paycheck to paycheck, you are literally dumber. Your brain is in survival mode. You make bad decisions because you are panicked. But when you have the fortress, a year of expenses sitting quietly in an account, your brain relaxes. You enter a state of abundance. You negotiate differently. You don't tolerate disrespect at work because you don't need them. You can walk away. Flashy people are terrified of losing their job because their lifestyle will collapse in 30 days. Quiet people are dangerous because they cannot be bought and they cannot be threatened. Law 4. Exiting the comparison game. We are social animals. We are wired to look at our neighbor and see how we stack up. You look at your friend and think, "He got a new Tesla. I am falling behind. I need to upgrade." This is a hallucination. This is a glitch in your software. You are comparing your behind the scenes with their highlight reel. You see the Tesla, you don't see the crushing debt behind it. You don't see the arguments with his wife about money. You don't see the stress-induced insomnia. You are envying a mirage. The quiet millionaire deletes the scoreboard. He realizes that the only person he is playing against is himself from yesterday. He understands that status is a zero-sum game. For you to be high status, someone else must be low status. It is a constant, exhausting war for position. Why play a game you can never win? Even if you win the rat race, you are still a rat. Exit the game. Stop looking at the scoreboard. Build your machine in silence. Law 5. The Diderot Effect and Irreversibility. There is a phenomenon called the Diderot Effect. The philosopher Denis Diderot was once gifted a beautiful scarlet robe. It was magnificent. But then he noticed his old rug looked cheap compared to the robe. So he bought a new rug. Then his chair looked old. So he bought a new chair. Soon he was in debt, all because of one robe. This is how consumption works. One purchase demands another. The new phone demands the new headphones, which demand the new watch. Your mind thinks, "I deserve this treat." But reality is different. Every dollar you spend is a soldier you sent away, and that soldier will never come back to fight for you. He will never recruit other soldiers. Interest. He is dead. Spending is irreversible. Investing is planting. The quiet millionaire uses the 72-hour rule. When the impulse to buy something hits you, that rush of dopamine, you do nothing. You wait. You tell your brain, "We will discuss this in 3 days." Usually, after 72 hours, the dopamine fades. The chemical fog lifts, and you realize, "I didn't want the item. I just wanted the hit. I just wanted to change how I felt." Save the money, keep the soldier, win the war. Law 6. The gray man theory. This is the hardest pill to swallow. To be truly rich, you must be comfortable with people thinking you are average. You must be okay with your neighbors thinking you are struggling because you don't upgrade your car every year. You must be okay with your family asking, "Why don't you buy a bigger house?" This is the ultimate test of the ego. Can you handle the silence? Can you handle not being applauded? Most people cannot. They would rather be broke and admired than rich and ignored. This is why they stay poor. They are paying a status tax every single day. The gray man, the dangerous man, loves the shadows. He knows that visibility is a liability. If everyone knows you are rich, you become a target, You become a target for lawsuits, for friends who need a loan, for scammers, for jealousy. Privacy is the new luxury. In a world where everyone is broadcasting every meal they eat, the man who stays offline, stays private, and stays quiet is the one who holds the power. The weak man needs the applause to validate his existence. The strong man needs only his own respect. Conclusion. If this video triggered you, good. That means your ego is fighting back. Your ego wants you to stay poor. It wants you to stay visible. It wants you to be a good little consumer who feeds the machine. It is painful to kill the ego. It hurts to drive an old car when you could afford a new one. It hurts to wear a generic watch when you could wear a Rolex. But that pain, that is the feeling of weakness leaving the body. That is the feeling of chains breaking. Here is the truth you avoided looking in the eye. The goal is not to look rich. The goal is to be free. Freedom is invisible. Freedom looks like a calm Tuesday morning where you don't have an alarm clock. Freedom looks like saying no to a meeting without explaining yourself. Freedom looks like silence. If you want to break this cycle, you need to initiate the iron protocol of silence. Number 1. Stop telling people what you are going to do. Show them what you have done. Number 2. Stop buying things to impress people you don't like. If you wouldn't buy it if no one could see it, don't buy it. Number 3. Embrace the shadows. Be the gray man. Let the clowns have the circus. Let them dance for likes. Let them drown in debt to impress strangers. You own the tent. You own the land the circus is built on. And while they make noise, you make history. The world will tell you, show off, shine bright. Your insecurity will tell you, prove them wrong. Your spirit will say, can still go. Subscribe if you are ready to stop acting and start building. We begin.